11 teams are getting ready to unload their cars at the Miami International Autodrome this week, and almost none of them are bringing the same machine they raced 3 rounds ago. Ferrari is calling its update a package and a half. McLaren is promising a brand new car. Red Bull just tested what the paddock is calling the RB22 version 2, and Aston Martin is hoping a single part can save its season from total collapse. Miami is round 4 of the 2026 World Championship, but it feels more like a second season launch. And when the cars hit the track for a longer 90-minute FP1 session on Friday, the grid order we have known for the first 3 races is almost surely going to change. The reason comes down to timing. Bahrain and Saudi Arabia were both cancelled due to the Middle East conflict, handing every team a 5-week gap nobody planned for. Upgrade packages meant for Bahrain have been refined, expanded, and in some cases fully rebuilt. On top of that, new FIA energy rules kick in this weekend. Qualifying recharge drops from 8 megajoules to 7. The super clipping peak jumps from 250 to 350 kilowatts, and race boost gets capped at 150. Every team is reworking its power maps alongside its aero. Every single one of those changes shifts how engineers set up their cars for Miami, and every single team knows it. So who is bringing what, and who stands to gain the most? Mercedes shows up at the Hard Rock Stadium circuit in a spot no one saw coming 5 months ago. Kimi Antonelli leads the World Championship with 72 points. At 19 years and 6 months old, he is the youngest championship leader in Formula One history, breaking a record Lewis Hamilton set back in 2007. George Russell sits second with 63. The team holds a 45-point lead in the constructors over Ferrari. The W17, powered by the Mercedes M17 engine, is the car everyone else is chasing. Its standout design feature is a slotted diffuser that works with undercut side pods to feed fast-moving air up the inner wall, a concept the FIA ruled legal under Article 3.5 because the slot sits in the diffuser wall rather than the floor surface. For Miami, Mercedes is not rolling out a major aero overhaul. The focus is on circuit-specific trimming and tuning the car to the new energy rules. When you are 45 points clear after 3 races, you polish, you do not gamble. Toto Wolff's main concern heading into the weekend is handling 2 drivers who both believe they should be leading the title fight. He has been blunt about the dynamic, saying that the moment a driver feels everything revolves around just one of them, that is not a mindset Mercedes would ever allow. He went further, saying he would rather have only one car running than let that kind of ego take root. On Antonelli, Wolff has said the teenager no longer needs to prove his speed, talent, or character to anyone at the team. That is a striking thing to say about a driver who has been in Formula One for less than 3 months. Word from inside the paddock is that Mercedes engineers are quietly frustrated that the break handed every rival extra time to build. That frustration is itself a tell. Brackley sees Miami as a race to defend, not attack. They are the hunted now, and they know it. Ferrari is bringing the boldest single package of any team on the grid. Fred Vasseur has called it a package and a half, saying that parts meant for later in the season were pulled forward during the break. The team ran a filming day at Monza on April 22nd, with Leclerc in the car during the morning and Hamilton taking over in the afternoon. The upgrade touches nearly every surface of the SF26. A fully new front wing keeps the central section but swaps out the flaps, main profile, and end plates. A reworked engine cover helps with cooling. The floor and rear floor area both carry new shapes. And the headline item is an updated version of Ferrari's Macarena, rotating rear wing, a 270-degree rotating, active aero concept that paddock guesses say is worth 5 to 10 km per hour on the straights. Vasseur's take on this weekend is unusually direct. He has said that from Miami onwards, there will likely be another championship, that starting from Miami, a new championship begins. He also admitted that Ferrari held back on budget cap spending in the opening races on purpose, choosing not to push at full strength early so they could invest here. The Macarena wing carries a risk that Vasseur has been open about. The only way to truly test it for reliability is during live FP1 sessions, and Miami runs under the sprint format, which means there is no FP3 safety net. If the wing works, Ferrari could gain several tenths in a single weekend. If it causes problems, the team is stuck with it for qualifying, and the race with barely any time to figure out what went wrong. The one thing Miami does not fix is the engine. Ferrari puts its power gap to Mercedes at 30 horsepower, and no engine upgrade is coming until later in the season. That means the whole job of catching the W17 falls on the body and wings of the car. For a team down 45 points, that is a very focused bet. McLaren is arguably the most daring gamble on the grid right now. Team boss Andrea Stella confirmed on April 23rd that a full Aero B spec is being rolled out across 2 races, Miami and Canada. His exact words were that across those 2 events, the grid will see an entirely new MCL40. The launch version of the car was always meant to be a steady base for building on rather than a peak speed machine, and the gap to Mercedes, paired with reliability issues that caused a double retirement in China, has made this rollout urgent. Sim numbers reportedly had McLaren engineers fired up in early April, showing big gains. Stella has been careful about real-world proof though, noting that bringing a new car across 2 sprint weekends with limited practice time will not be simple. What makes this bet even more striking is the context. McLaren has the fewest wind tunnel runs of any team on the grid, just 224 in the first half of the season, a penalty for winning the 2025 Constructors' title. They are swinging hard with one hand tied behind their back. On top of that, Gianpiero Lambias, Max Verstappen's former race engineer, joins the team in the middle of this push. So here is where things get rough. Red Bull Racing sits 6th in the Constructors with 16 points from 3 races. Max Verstappen, the 4-time world champion, has 12 points and sits 9th in the drivers' standings. After qualifying 11th in Japan, he called the RB22 undriveable. His teammate, Isaac Hadjar, went further and called it dangerous. The car struggles badly with mid and high-speed understeer and lacks the grip that defined Red Bull's past winning years. A Silverstone filming day on April 22nd tested what the paddock is calling the RB22 version 2. New floor with new shapes, reshaped side pods swapping the old smooth curve for a sharper kink, a new front wing with a pointed main plane and added end plate dive plane, halo winglets, and a Ferrari-inspired but simpler rotating rear wing flap, thought to add 5 to 10 km/h. Laurent Mekies, the team boss, framed Miami as a reset. He called it a second season launch, given how much work every team has packed into the break. He says the factory mood is fierce, that if you walk through Milton Keynes, there is fire in every room. The honest note from Mekies himself is that coming to Miami does not mean everything is fixed by some kind of miracle, and the deeper problem is built into the budget. Red Bull faces spending cap pressure. That forces a choice between fixing the RB22 now and building the 2027 car properly. Their wind tunnel time sits at 256 first-half runs, well below what lower-ranked teams get. Now for the team that somehow has 0 points after 3 races despite hiring the most famous car designer in the sport's history. Aston Martin's crisis is not about downforce. It is about shaking. The Honda RA626H power unit vibrates in a way that clashes with the AMR26 chassis. A problem traced to Adrian Newey's late request for a shorter power unit layout. He asked Honda to stack the battery and electronics on top of each other and move the MG UK in front of the engine to open up space for better airflow around the rear. The engine passed every test on Honda's dyno in Sakura. The shaking only shows up when the unit sits inside the actual car. Fernando Alonso pulled out of China, shaking out his hand from the vibrations. Newey himself warned that drivers risked lasting nerve damage if a fix did not come fast. A test part, mounted around the steering column and battery, went on the car during practice in Suzuka, and Alonso rated it 80% better. The team then pulled it before qualifying because it was not yet reliable enough. That call left Alonso confused and upset, racing the Grand Prix without the fix he had just felt working. Honda's trackside team has been racing the clock on fixes for Miami. Their trackside general manager, Shintaro Orihara, has said the work will carry on right up until the cars land in Florida. Aston Martin's chief trackside officer Mike Crack has said he is quite confident the Miami version will be good enough that the team stops talking about vibrations at all. Newey, who now holds the team principal title after Andy Cowell moved to Sakura to help with engine work, has said the AMR26 chassis has top 5 speed once the power unit is sorted. If the fix holds at race pace, Aston Martin could be the biggest mover of the whole weekend. If it does not, Aston Martin's season is done before it really started. The midfield fight heading into Miami is where the upgrade war gets truly wild, because every team from 5th to 11th believes this weekend could reshape their season. The margins are razor thin. The gap between 4th and 10th in the Constructors after 3 races is smaller than the gap between 1st and 2nd. One good upgrade at the right time could move a team 3 or 4 spots. One failed upgrade could bury them. Racing Bulls has the cleanest upgrade plan of any team. The tech team under Dan Fallows, who joined as technical director, alongside Chief Technical Officer Tim Goss, has lined up a double upgrade push. The Bahrain Spec Aero package lands at Miami, with a separate Montreal package swapping it out just 2 weeks later. The extra time turned what started as 2 sets of new parts into 3 or 4. Alan Perman has been straight about the goal, saying the team just needs more downforce, which is what they are bringing. Changes to how the Red Bull Ford power unit is run are also expected from Miami onwards. Liam Lawson already sits on 10 points with rookie Arvid Lindblad on 4, putting the team 7th in Constructors with real speed heading into the upgrade cycle. Audi is bringing what Mattia Binotto calls a major package compared to what the team has run so far. The main target is the gearbox, where rough shifts have been causing the car to wobble under braking and speeding up all season. Binotto believes the total gain from smoother shifts and aero work could add up to a full second per lap. Alan McNish joins as racing director from Miami onwards, taking charge trackside after Jonathan Wheatley left in March. Williams faces the toughest problem on the grid to fix mid-season. The FW48 is more than 20 kilograms over the minimum weight limit of 768 kilograms, costing roughly 1 second per lap. The Miami update brings a new floor, new bodywork, and new side panels. But team boss James Vowles has been clear that it will be better, but not a miracle. The team's own targets aim to claw back half a second to a full second by Monza through staged packages. Alpine is the quiet shock of 2026, sitting 5th in constructors after finishing last in 2025. The switch to the Mercedes power unit, paired with a clever active aero rear wing, where the moving part drops down rather than lifts up, has changed the A526 into a real threat. No big Miami package has been publicly confirmed. The team is making small tweaks rather than one large step. Haas holds 4th in constructors, thanks mostly to Oliver Behrman's 17 points, and the team has confirmed Behrman is fit to race after his 50G crash at Suzuka. Team boss Io Komatsu is focused on holding ground rather than a B-spec, targeting race starts and Esteban Ocon's qualifying pace. His view is simple: whoever prepares best for each weekend and gets up to speed fastest in FP1 can swing from the top of the midfield to the bottom just like that. And then there is Cadillac, the 11th team on the grid, bringing its first ever major upgrade to what is really a home race. The Mach 26, powered by a customer Ferrari engine, was kept simple at launch to meet the new team's tight deadlines, and Cadillac paid a $450 million entry fee just to be here. A smaller diffuser update in Japan proved the car is heading the right way, and Valtteri Bottas noted a gain in rear grip from it. Sergio Perez, back on the grid after a year away alongside Bottas, has said the team needs about 1 second to fight Williams and Alpine on a regular basis. In Japan, Cadillac was already 4/10 faster than the Aston Martins. Team boss Graham Loudon called the progress in build quality and reliability really pleasing, and the team is using Miami for a big launch event. With over 520 staff across Indiana, North Carolina, Michigan, and Silverstone, Cadillac is building something serious. The energy rule changes are the factor nobody is talking about enough. With qualifying recharge cut, superclipping raised, and race boost capped, every team's battery and energy software needs reworking. Teams whose sim tools adapt fastest to the new limits could find speed that has nothing to do with the aero packages everyone is watching. It is a hidden race running right alongside the visible one. Vasseur put it simply: from Miami, a new championship begins. The Antonelli and Russell Mercedes story is the headline today. Whether it holds up against a Ferrari Aero Leap, a McLaren B-spec, and a Red Bull fightback is what this weekend starts to answer. And the answer is not going to be clear after FP1. It is going to play out across a sprint qualifying, a sprint race, and a Grand Prix under the Florida sun. If this was useful, click the video on screen for more on the 2026 fight. I will see you there.